The year is 1096. Crusaders march through the Rhineland, leaving a trail of Jewish blood. This isn't just another historical footnote. It's one of the pivotal moments that shaped centuries of hatred. Today, we're diving into 10 key events that fueled antisemitism. Buckle up. This isn't pretty, but it's crucial to understand. First stop, ancient Egypt, 13th century BCE. The Exodus story tells of Jewish enslavement. Pharaoh feared the Israelites might join Egypt's enemies. This fear of the outsider is a recurring theme in antisemitism. It's not just about religion or race, it's about power and control. The Egyptians saw the Israelites as a threat to their way of life. Sound familiar? It should. This same fear drives much of today's xenophobia and racism. Fast forward to 19 CE, Rome. Emperor Tiberius expels Jews from the city. Why? They were gaining too many converts. This marks the start of official Roman persecution. It's a clear example of how fear of cultural change can lead to drastic actions. The Romans saw Jewish influence as a threat to their traditional gods and way of life. This expulsion set a dangerous precedent that would be repeated throughout history. Now 70 CE, the Romans destroy the Second Temple in Jerusalem. Jews scatter across the empire. This diaspora makes Jews a minority everywhere they go. Being a minority often means being misunderstood, and fear often follows misunderstanding. The destruction of the temple wasn't just about conquering a city, it was about destroying the center of Jewish religious and cultural life. This event forced Jews to adapt and survive in hostile environments, a skill they would need for centuries to come. Let's jump to 1096 CE. The First Crusade begins. Crusaders, fired up to retake Jerusalem, attack Jewish communities along the way. Thousands die. This violence cements the idea of Jews as Christ killers in European minds. It's a stark example of how religious fervor can turn deadly when mixed with existing prejudices. The Crusaders saw Jews as enemies of Christianity, ignoring the fact that Jesus himself was Jewish. This twisted logic would fuel anti-Semitism for centuries. 1215 CE. The Fourth Lateran Council requires Jews to wear special badges. Sound eerily familiar? It should. This isn't just about identification, it's about marking the other. It's about segregation. These badges made Jews easily identifiable, making them targets for discrimination and violence. It's a chilling precursor to the yellow stars of Nazi Germany. This decision by the Catholic Church shows how even respected institutions can contribute to the spread of hatred. Now, Spain, 1492. The Alhambra Decree expels all Jews from Spain. Convert or leave. Many choose exile. This shows how deeply anti-Semitism had taken root in Europe. An entire country decides it's better off without its Jewish population. This expulsion ended centuries of Jewish contribution to Spanish culture, science, and economy. It's a prime example of how anti-Semitism can lead to self-destructive national policies. Fast forward to 1881, Russia. A wave of pogroms begins after Tsar Alexander II's assassination. Jews are blamed despite a lack of evidence. This pattern of scapegoating Jews for national problems will become tragically common. These violent attacks forced many Jews to flee Russia, changing the demographic landscape of Eastern Europe and beyond. It's a clear example of how quickly rumors and lies can turn into deadly violence. 1903, Russia again. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion is published. This forgery claims to reveal a Jewish plan for global domination. Despite being debunked, it spreads like wildfire. It shows how lies can fuel hatred long after they're exposed. This document became a blueprint for anti-Semitic propaganda worldwide. Even today, its ideas continue to circulate in conspiracy theories. It's a stark reminder of the power of misinformation. Now, the darkest chapter. 1933, Germany. Hitler becomes chancellor. The Nazis' anti-Semitic ideology leads to the Holocaust. 6 million Jews are murdered. It's the culmination of centuries of hatred, taken to its most extreme and horrific conclusion. The Holocaust wasn't just about killing Jews, it was an attempt to erase Jewish culture, history, and existence. It shows how unchecked hatred can lead to unimaginable horrors. Finally, 1948. The State of Israel is established. While a triumph for many Jews, it also becomes a new focus for anti-Semitism. Old hatreds merge with anti-Zionism, creating new challenges. The creation of Israel was seen by many as a necessary safe haven after the Holocaust, but it also led to new conflicts and new forms of anti-Semitism. It's a complex issue that shows how even attempts to address anti-Semitism can lead to new problems. These 10 moments aren't just history, they're the building blocks of a hatred that still exists today, the fear of the other from ancient Egypt, the scapegoating from Russia, the lies from the protocols. They're all still around. But here's the thing. Understanding these moments isn't just about looking back. It's about looking forward. It's about recognizing these patterns when they pop up today. It's about being vigilant against the resurgence of old hatreds in new forms. Remember the badges from 1215? Think about how we mark people as different today. It might not be a physical badge, but stereotypes and prejudices still mark people as outsiders. Remember the lies of the protocols? Think about how conspiracy theories spread now, especially on social media. The methods may have changed, but the underlying patterns remain the same. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And right now, it's rhyming in some pretty disturbing ways. Anti-Semitic incidents are on the rise globally. Online hate is spreading faster than ever. We're seeing a resurgence of old stereotypes and conspiracy theories, often disguised as political criticism or just asking questions. So what do we do with this knowledge? That's the real question. And it's one we'll tackle in our next video. Because understanding the past is just the first step. The next step? That's up to us. It's about taking this knowledge and using it to combat hatred and prejudice in all its forms. But before we wrap up, think about this. If you could go back and change one of these moments, which would it be? And more importantly, what moment are we living through right now that future generations will look back on? Will they see a time when hatred triumphed, or when people stood up against it? History isn't just something that happens to us. We're making it every day. Every time we challenge a stereotype, speak out against hatred, or simply treat others with respect, we're writing a new page in history. So the real question is, what kind of history do you want to make? Remember, anti-Semitism didn't appear overnight. It was built over centuries, one event at a time. But that also means it can be dismantled, one action at a time. It starts with understanding, continues with awareness, and culminates in action. What will your action be?